I stood by the window of my luxurious Manhattan penthouse, gazing at the bustling city below. My mind was consumed by recent events that had turned my orderly life upside down. Alina, a successful 47-year-old businesswoman, never imagined I'd find myself at the center of a scandalous romance that could destroy everything I'd built over the years. My marriage to Richard was stable but dull. We ran the family business together and our love had turned into a convenient partnership. I always felt like something was missing, but I couldn't quite figure out what. My life was as predictable as my daily routine: a morning jog in Central Park, breakfast with Richard, then work at the office day in and day out. Nothing ever changed, but everything shifted when Leo Nephi had to move to the city. I'd only met him once, at my wedding. Back then he was just a teenager with big dreams and an even bigger ego, but now, with his studies behind him, Ken had moved to New York to try his luck in the modeling business. This story will definitely surprise you, so go ahead and like this video now to let me know you enjoy it, and so I can keep sharing more of it. Richard asked me to help Ken settle in, and I agreed, not realizing that this decision would lead to such unexpected consequences. The kid had grown up now. He was a tall, dark-haired man with piercing blue eyes. At 25, he exuded a masculinity that was impossible to ignore. From the moment I saw him, I felt an unfamiliar excitement coursing through me, like my blood was boiling. The first day we met to discuss his plans, I felt an unusual pull toward him. As we strolled through the streets of Soho, Ken, with his youthful energy, seemed so vibrant and magnetic. He spoke passionately about his dreams and ambitions, and I couldn't take my eyes off him. "You're so experienced and successful, Alina. I want to be like you," he said, his eyes shining with admiration. I smiled, feeling an odd sense of pride. No one had ever looked at me like that before, especially not a young, handsome man. At that moment I decided I had to help him, unaware of the consequences that decision would bring. We began spending a lot of time together. I introduced Ken to my business contacts, showed him around New York, and sometimes we simply wandered the city, enjoying each other's company. One evening after dinner at a fancy restaurant, we stopped at Times Square to admire the dazzling lights and bustling crowds. Ken wrapped his arm around me and I felt the firmness of his body against mine. "You're so beautiful, Alina," he whispered in my ear, his breath tickling my skin. My heart raced and I felt my body respond to his closeness. I knew it was wrong. I was married, but in that moment I didn't care. "Come with me," I whispered, taking his hand and leading him to the nearest hotel. Before this story takes an even wilder turn, make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss anything. And when it's over, show your support with likes and comments. They mean so much to me. Inside the hotel room, there was no time for small talk. I tore off his shirt, revealing his muscular chest. He was so young, so full of life. I pressed against him, feeling his readiness. "You're amazing, Alina," he breathed, his hand slipping under my skirt. I couldn't hold back my moans as his fingers found my wetness. He was skilled in ways I hadn't expected, and I couldn't believe how this young man knew exactly how to please me. Our bodies moved together in a passionate dance. I cried out in ecstasy, feeling him move inside me. "I want all of you, Alina," he whispered, kissing my neck as we reached our climax together. After that night I couldn't think about anything but Ken. I felt ashamed of what I'd done, but I couldn't resist him. I started looking for any excuse to spend time with him alone. We began meeting in secret, sneaking off to different hotels around the city, indulging in our fiery passion. Ken was a wild lover, and his youth brought an edge to our encounters that I hadn't experienced before. One night, after an especially intense evening, Ken held me close, his breathing uneven. "Alina, I need to tell you something," he began, his voice trembling. My heart raced as I looked at him nervously. "I love you, Alina. I know it's crazy, but I can't fight this feeling," he admitted, his eyes filled with passion. I was shocked yet overjoyed. I never thought he could feel the same way I did. "I love you too, Ken," I replied, kissing him gently. We knew our romance was dangerous and could ruin our lives, but the passion was too strong to ignore. We continued our affair, savoring every moment together, as if it were our own secret world. But secrets don't stay hidden forever. One night, when I returned home from a meeting with Ken, I found Richard waiting for me in the living room. His expression was cold, full of suspicion. "Where were you, Alina?" he asked, his voice icy. I felt my face flush. I knew I couldn't tell him the truth. "I had a meeting with a client," I lied, trying to stay calm. Richard stared at me intently, as if searching for the truth. "I know you're lying, Alina. I know you're having an affair," he said, his voice firm and filled with resolve. My heart sank. I hadn't expected him to find out so soon. I don't know what you're talking about," I stammered, desperate to find a way out. Richard stepped closer, his face hard. I've seen you with Ken too many times, he said quietly, but his tone was laced with anger. I was frozen, with fear, unable to speak. I don't know what to say, Richard. My words tangled as I struggled for an explanation. Richard turned abruptly and left the room, leaving me in shock and confusion. I realized my marriage, my business, my entire life was at risk because of this uncontrollable passion, but despite the danger, I couldn't give up. Ken, our connection was too strong, too intoxicating to abandon. I resolved to find a way to keep both my marriage and this forbidden love, not knowing the situation would only grow more complicated, leading to unexpected revelations. If you've made it this far, I know my story has touched you deeply, but this is just the beginning. There's so much more to tell. The story is about to take an unexpected turn, and you definitely don't want to miss it. So hit the follow button, turn on notifications, and leave a comment. Your support means everything to me.